Hello everyone, it's Nobby again from Cat3Design.com, and tonight I'm gonna take you for yet another 1 hour flight, and this time from Melbourne to Adelaide. I was actually gonna do this earlier on today in early afternoon, but I had to shut the computer down due to some family events. And yeah, so now it's 10 o'clock at night, and got a bit of spare time, so I'm gonna give it another go. Alright, now we're in the flight deck, and I'm just gonna shut down all the standby. Hi guys, it's Nobby from Cat3Design.com. Thanks for joining me on this live flight from Melbourne to Adelaide. It's 10 p.m. Here in Melbourne, and it's about 1 hour flight to Adelaide. And Adelaide in real world's got a curfew. I think curfew starts at 11, but I could be wrong. But we'll just assume that we got a dispensation for that curfew, and we can legally fly to Adelaide. Alright, so we just came into the flight deck. Everything is dark, and it's only 10 degrees outside, and it is raining, and yeah, it does look pretty freezing, doesn't it? And we're gonna warm up the airplane, and hopefully we can get out of Melbourne in about 30 minutes or less. Alright, so very quickly, just going through the weather. The current weather of Melbourne, a bit of light rain, a few 3,500, broken at 4,400, 10 degrees and 1014, and it's a westerly wind, as it has been all day. TAF indicates yeah, no major change throughout our departure period, and we'll check the Melbourne 80s on VATSIM in just a tick, and Adelaide TAF, that's from 1200, that's applicable for us. 23014, and all the nines, showers of light rain. It's got a 2000, broken 5000. Not perfect, but not terrible either. And yep, no terms. Let's assume we checked everything, and everything is compatible with our flight. The big picture stuff, high level SIGA weather, Melbourne to Adelaide, so we're going from here to there, and there has been quite a strong jet all day today, and of course the polar side of jet is always prone to turbulence more than the other side, and expect a few bumps as we make our descent into Adelaide, that Cat area number 2 that extends from 280 to 400. Excellent. So as always, let's start off with the QRH preliminary cockpit preparation. Engine master 1 and 2 off, and engine mode selector is normal, and the weather radar is off. Landing gear lever down, and both wiper selectors are off. Batteries checked auto, checked voltage, and batteries auto. And external power push button switch not required. APU fire check guarded, discharge light is not illuminated, and a test. And the APU start. Okay, so we just wait for the APU to start up, and while I'm waiting, I'm just gonna put in our virtual fuel and virtual passengers onto the aircraft. I'm gonna do this in a simple way, so I've adjusted the zero fuel weight as per the flight plan, and also the fuel we got the 11.6 kilo pounds on board. Please bear with me if you're used to flying with kilograms as your main unit for weights and fuel, but due to the real world commitment, it's much familiar for me to work with pounds. And another thing today, we are gonna activate some random failure. One failure is enough, I reckon. What do you reckon, guys? One is enough? Yeah. 5,000 second random. So we may see something, but then again we may not. Alright, so let's hope it's gonna be fair to me, but never know what we're gonna see. Alright, so APU is now available. So when the APU is available, external power push button switch is not required. Air conditioning panel set, so APU bleed on, pack 1, pack 2 on. Cockpit lights, yep, it's a night flight, so make sure everything is in the right position. I'm just gonna turn the dome light on. Make sure the FCU brightness is adjusted. Floodlight, integral light, all adjusted. Cool, I can turn off the flashlight now. And the EFB ACAS initialization, all EFB start and EFB EQRH version checked. And CM1, CM2 duties here, so you can logbook check, recall push button on the ECP. We'll press it for at least 3 seconds to clear any emergency cancelled warnings if there are any. And the logbook checked, and there's no MEL, there's no CDLs, and the aircraft acceptance performed, and the preliminary performance determination and airfield data obtained. So I'll just tune into Melbourne 118.0 on VATSIM. Ooh, did it drop out? No, it's still there. 118.0.
Melbourne Terminal Information Whiskey. Expect GLS or ILS approach. Runway 27. Wind, WND 200, 270 degrees, 10 knots, 20. Maximum crosswind 12. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers. Dry. Cloud view 3,000 feet. Temperature 10, QNH 1014. On first contact with Melbourne ground or approach, notify.
Cut off at the end, but it's information whiskey. And runway 27 departure, and variable wind between 200 and 270 degrees, and 10 knots up to 20 knots, crosswind 12. More than 10 kbs, and it says dry, and it might actually be dry, the actual runway surface, but it's always a good idea to use wet figure whenever it's raining, and there's definitely a forecast of rain as well, so let's use a wet figure. And fuel 3,000 feet, temperature 10 degrees, which means we will require engine 90 eyes for takeoff if there's any precipitation. And QNH of 1014. Alright, so we are not using load sheet app, so we're going to skip that. And MEL CDL items, nothing to be activated. Preliminary takeoff performance data, compute. So let's go ahead and do that. So Melbourne, runway 27 full length, 26011. I'm just going to put 0 knots so as not to take any credit for headwind. Temperature of 10 degrees is okay. QNH1014, that's fine, and we'll use wet. The flex and config optimum, engine anti-ice, just engine anti-ice, and the air conditioning will be on for takeoff. Takeoff weight of 140.3 is slightly above our planned weight, so that's fine, and takeoff Mach of 31.2%. Calculate. Okay, so here's the figures and config 3, and we are able to do flex performance limited takeoff weight of 172.4, so that's easily done. Engine failure procedure is runway truck at 5 DME, left turn to truck 190, pretty standard stuff. Okay, and the preliminary takeoff performance data has been cross-checked between the pilots. OEB has been checked, and ECAM ECAM oxygen, hydraulic, and engine oil, they all checked. Flaps, checked position, and the speed brake lever, checked retracted and disarmed. Parking brake handle is on, and accumulator brake pressure is let's check, that's slightly out of the green, so we'll get the engineer downstairs to make sure there's no one around the gear doors, because we're going to pressurize the aircraft, and once we got the clearance to do that, we'll turn off the PTU to avoid turning on the green, because that's not necessary. We'll just turn the electric pump on, and that should bring up the yellow pressure, and therefore the accumulator. There you go, and the pressure is in the green. Alright, and put all the switches back to the original state in the reverse order, so electric pump off and PTU back to auto. Alright, back to the QRH. Emergency equipment's checked, rain repellents checked, CV panels are checked, gear pins and covers checked on board and stowed, and the exterior walk round to be performed by the pilot monitoring. Alright, we'll put the QRH aside, and we'll go ahead with the pilot flying scan. I'm just going to omit the voice recorder test. I'm not going to do the full procedure with the loudspeaker off and stuff, just to save us a little bit of time for this simulated flight. And engine fail test. Okay.
3000, 4254 in the box.
Confirm full code please, Alpha Lima Echo.
4254.
Yep, roger. We're cleared direct from Moorabbin, runway 27 to Melbourne 6 departure. Time
Public relations is going to be the LED floodlight. If you wanted to stick it
Alpha Lima Echo.
Okay, that's fine.
Melbourne approach, g'day, Mike Tango Uniform airborne out of Avalon, passing 2,000 feet, cruising airways clearance in for Melbourne, currently overhead Avalon at 2,200 feet.
Mike Tango Uniform Melbourne approach, g'day, I do cover Avalon. Squawk 4472.
4472, Mike Tango Uniform.
Bravo, Sierra Victor, 0, aircraft below you.
Negative, Bravo,
Valid flight plan link. Okay, interesting. Stand by.
Alpha Lima Echo requesting taxi.
2.
Last station unreadable.
Alpha Lima Echo request taxi.
Alpha Lima Echo, towards my Charlie.
Affirm Charlie. And welcome to Sydney Airport.
Alpha Lima Echo, taxi holding point. I'll give you holding point Alpha, runway 27.
Stand by, folks.
Thank you very much. We'll take Alpha for runway 27 now for Lima Echo.
Change the call
Mike
sign,
Tango Uniform
setting
Melbourne approach,
up.
g'day, identified. Climb 4000, cleared Melbourne direct and stand by for star.
Climb to 4,000, cleared Melbourne and direct to, and understood, thanks Mike Tango Uniform.
Mike Tango Uniform, it's going to be the, can get vector, you can expect vectors for
better.
the visual approach, runway 27.
Understood, thanks, and
Oh, it's going to be runway 27 departure and Navy
27, Mike Tango Uniform.
Mike Tango Uniform, no worries, turn right, cancel the star, turn right, heading 040, maintain 4000.
Turn right 040 and maintaining 4,000, Mike Tango Uniform.
Alpha Lima Echo, ready at Alpha.
Alpha Lima Echo, the latest winds was 270 degrees, 10 knots, runway 27, cliff takeoff.
Yep, roger, wind 270 and 10 knots. Runway 27 clear for takeoff.
Control.
Cool. Alrighty. And the performance data.
And Alpha Lima Echo airborne passing through 600 for 3000.
Alpha Lima Echo, roger, not yet identified. Bravo, Sierra Victor, squawk mode Charlie.
We are smoking Charlie, Bravo, Sierra Victor.
Alpha Lima Echo, stand by.
Roger, Alpha Lima Echo, we're just heading direct Moorabbin.
3000 direct Moorabbin.
Yep, direct Moorabbin 3000 Alpha Lima Echo.
Melbourne approach, Lima Skip, Cessna 172 departing Rabbit, time 20.
Last session, call say again, call sign only.
Lima Sierra Papa.
Lima Sierra Papa, roger. Squawk 4403.
4403, Lima Sierra Papa.
And approach Alpha Lima Echo, we're doing a touch and go at Essendon now.
Alpha Lima Echo, negative. Direct Moorabbin, please.
Oh, roger, direct Moorabbin.
Melbourne approach, Echo Yankee Zulu radio check.
Echo Yankee Zulu, readability 5.
Mate.
What you know about rolling down in the deep?
Lima Sierra Papa, just confirm squawking 4403 Mo Charlie, having got
This
two
is getting a
identified.
little bit unbearable, this troll on the frequency. I'm just going to switch to Melbourne
Okay,
Tower,
we're
which
talking
just came back
4403,
up.
and,
He just
we're
keeps on
Mo
dropping
Charlie,
out, so
Lima Sierra Papa.
hopefully he can
Melbourne
give us
Apache, hi
the
Italy, hello to you. Echo Mark Sierra, inbound Albert Park Lake on descent 1500 for city orbits, beep.
Lima Sierra Papa, make a 1 right-hand orbit from present position, please.
I have no idea what's going on with the frequency, but anyway, anything could happen on a live flight. Alright, bear with me. Navis 7 departure, yeah, that's the one. Excellent. Cool. Alrighty, so we're on 120.5 Melbourne Tower, and we'll grab the clearance in a minute. But anyway, let's go back to where we were. We've done that, and let's say the pilot monitoring came back to the flight deck, and they report that our aircraft is in good shape. Alright, so let's set up the EFIS 1014 arc 10 degrees, VOR is fine, and IRS aligned already.
Melbourne Tower, Echo Yankee 0, radio check.
And dashes dot heading VS 5000 dot dashes, that's correct, and oxygen check.
Last station calling, g'day,
Alpha
55.
cockpit. Oxygen check. Cool. And ND and the PFD, all indications are correct. Yep.
Melbourne Tower, good day, Echo Yankee 0 with information and request IFR clearance to Changi International.
Okay, so
Last station calling, with it,
lastly,
Echo
we checked
Yankee
ocean
Zulu.
pressure 1690, that's still good, and we got landing elevation auto 0 feet and the pressurization. So we are good to grab our clearance, and as always, let's just say that every passenger is on board and accounted for, and the stairs has been they've been pulled away, and the
Yankee
refueling is
have you
complete.
cleared
We've
from
got
your
the
copy?
docket, and the maintenance log has
Ready to
been
copy.
signed as well.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, you cleared to Changi International Airport by Kepler flight plan route. Runway 27, Kepler 2 departure, climb by the 5000, squawk 1512, and departures with center on 124.0.
Departure Kepler 2, runway 27, squawk 1512, departure 124.00.
Echo Yankee Zulu, just confirming runway 27, Kepler 2 departure.
27, Kepler 2 departure.
Echo Yankee Zulu, thanks.
Melbourne Tower goes 452 to Adelaide. Request clearance.
Tigos 252 Melbourne Tower, good afternoon. You cleared to Adelaide via Nevis flight plan route. Runway 27, Nevis 7 departure. Climb by the SIT 5000, squawk 3244, and departure with centre on 124.0.
Cleared to Adelaide via Nevis planned route, runway 27, Nevis 7 departure, climb via City 5000, code 3244, and departures 124.0, and we obey Foxtrot 20, Tigos 452.
Tigos 452, thank you.
Okay, we've got 5000 and Nevis 7 departure, code 3244. And to goes 452, I was just monitoring Melbourne approach frequency just minutes ago, and it seemed like there were quite a few trolls on the frequency. I hope Melbourne approach didn't get offended.
I don't know, he's hopped off, so possibly I wasn't on, so I don't really know, sorry.
Melbourne Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu, request pushback.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, push is approved.
Alright, so the clearance received, and let's give ourselves a quick brief. Alright, so
Echo Yankee
overview.
Zulu, push is approved.
Neil, and
Push is approved, Echo
chart
Yankee Zulu.
20-9. We're at the Foxtrot 20 facing north. Expect to push back out to right, and then taxi Yankee Alpha Echo holding point Papa runway 27. Full length takeoff. We are catering for wet runway,
Unable to find.
and no headwind included, and config 3.
Sorry, last station calling, could you please just repeat that?
And then there's no noise
Unable to
abatement. We
find
accelerate at
stand
1,000 feet.
Okay, Yankee
The
Zulu, not a
seat will
problem.
be a
Push
Navy
and start
79
is
of
approved. I
departure.
can
That's
see your name tag.
20-3 Echo, and it's an RNAV SID truncheon altitude 10,000, RNAV INP 1, and the maximum 250 knots below 10,000 feet. For runway 27, there's no altitude requirements. Terrain, 4,500 is the highest MSA, but none that's going to affect our flight. And weather, a bit of light rain in the vicinity, and but I think it just stopped raining just now. But we're catering for engine anti-ice should we need it. And operations, Neil, fuel, we got what is it, 11.5 on board, and should get to Adelaide with 5.4 with no alternate, and that's sufficient. The abnormal briefing, engine out case, will maintain runway track until 5 DME Melbourne, then we'll make a left turn to track 190, minimum acceleration altitude of 1,910 feet. And we'll come back around to Adelaide, Melbourne, and we'll be underweight for any immediate return, and there's nothing set up in the secondary at this point. Alright, so that's all the briefing done, and let's do the before start checklist.
Cockpit prep completed. Gear pins and covers
Removed.
signs on auto. ADIRS
Nav,
fuel quantity
11,500 pounds.
takeoff data
Set.
Melbourne
RF
Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu
1014
facing.
set.
set down to the line.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, what was that, mate?
Pushback tug ready to go.
Direction.
Echo Yankee Zulu, you can push back, tail face south.
Tail face south, Echo Yankee Zulu.
I'll just wait for the ground guys to connect up the tug, and then we can request a pushback clearance. Announce it. Dim.
Melbourne Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu press information and ready to taxi.
Echo Yankee Zulu, just confirming it was information November, and you can taxi via
Information
Alpha Echo
November,
to Holding Point
Yankee
Papa.
No confirm.
Information November at Yankee Zulu.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, thanks. You can taxi via Alpha, Echo,
Melbourne Terminal information November.
Par, runway
Expect
27.
instrument approach. Runway
Alpha Echo
27.
turning point for par 27.
Wind
Check Yankee Zulu.
260 degrees, 11 knots. Visibility greater than 10 kilometers. Showers in area. Cloud scattered 3,000 feet. Broken 4,600 feet. Temperature 10. QNH 1014. On first contact with Melbourne ground or approach, notify receipt of information November.
Alright, November it is. Cool. Alright. Let's request pushback. Tigos 452 by Foxtrot 20, request pushback.
Tigos 452, Bay Foxtrot 20, push and start is approved.
Foxtrot 20 push start approved. That Tigos 452. Okay, beacons on and doors and windows closed and locked. The thrust lever is idle. Parking brake is set and below the line.
Windows and doors
Closed.
closed.
Echo Yankee
Beacon
Zulu, I've just seen you made a wrong turn.
Thrust levers.
Not a problem
Idle.
though. If you require progressive
Parking
taxi
brake.
or any help, just let me know.
It's on.
Before start checklist.
Continue with Yankee Zulu.
Okay, ground and cockpit. Go ahead and we're cleared for push. Okay, release. Just stand by.
Yep, number tower, g'day.
Okay, and release brakes.
Good afternoon.
Brakes
Yep,
released.
we're going around there.
See you later.
Ready to push. Okay. Okay, clear the start. Clear the start. Starting engines. And engine 2 start.
Echo Yankee Zulu, you can just continue taxiing straight ahead. On your first right, you can turn right, taxi all the way up until you hit your first left. That will be taxiway to par, and then you can hold short of runway 27 at the par.
Will comply, hold short, 27 for par.
Ladies and gentlemen, we now ask for your attention while we take you through the safety procedures on this aircraft. A safety card is in your seat pocket showing the exit routes, oxygen mask,
Starting
life
engine 1.
jackets and brace position that you must adopt if you hear brace, brace. There are 2 emergency exits at the rear, 4 in the middle, and 2 at the front of the cabin. Floor lighting will guide you to an exit. Please be aware that your
Number tower, g'day, Rex. Something, I don't know. No, Alpha Echo.
emergency, leave all cabin baggage on board. Your seatbelt is fastened, adjusted, and released.
Alpha Lima Echo, Melbourne Tower, g'day.
Fastened when the seatbelt sign
Yep,
is
g'day.
and we recommend that you keep it fastened at all times.
Are you for landing runway 34, or are you going around again?
From above,
Affirm the landing.
mask towards you to start the oxygen. Put the mask over your nose.
Alpha Lima Echo, g'day. Runway 34, you clear to land.
3-4 clear to land, and just advise for me that kilos available for a vacate.
Before helping others.
If you can make it, sure.
Your seat.
Oh yeah, rightio, cheers.
Pass the tapes around your waist. Click together.
Melbourne Tower, g'day, mating uniform is inbound on the
Okay,
ALS runway
and,
27 with
Rex.
whiskey. Mustang uniform, Melbourne Tower, g'day, runway 27 clear to land.
If it fails,
Runway 27 clear to land, thanks, mating uniform.
blow into the tube.
Mike, thank you, uniform, disregard that, that was not me. G'day.
You also carry close
Runway 27, in number 1.
must now be stopped.
Runway 27 number 1 and disregard
clear,
previous, thanks, mating uniform.
Alpha Lima Echo, do you reckon you could not pass over the runway threshold?
AFM, we're Lazo, we're getting off a kilo anyway.
Righto. Mike Tango Uniform, runway 27, you clear to land.
Runway 27 clear to land, thanks, Mike Tango Uniform.
Melbourne Tower, Yankee Zulu holding short runway 27.
Hello, EC 4492, switch over to full right.
Like Mike.
Yep, over to approach today, request IPAD to Sydney.
Testing.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, let go of your microphone button.
Stay firm, letting go.
Echo Yankee Zulu, you've got a stuck mic, let go of your microphone button please.
Stephen Durry's, mate, g'day.
Mike Tango Uniform, Melbourne Tower.
Go ahead, Mike Tango Uniform.
Have you a stuck mic, mate?
Negative, Mike Tango Uniform.
Roger, who does?
Tigos 452, not me.
It's frequency, please let go of your microphone button.
Yeah, roger. Rightio then, Melbourne Tower, Alpha Lima Echo, considering the stuck mic that someone's got, we're vacated on Kilo, and we're looking for a taxi to Delta, or no, maybe it's Golf 60.
And it's finally finished, thank you.
Melbourne Tower, Alpha Lima Echo, we vacated on Kilo, runway 34, request taxi Golf 60.
Alpha Lima Echo, welcome to Melbourne. Just advise for bail for again.
Golf 60, please.
EGM status.
Alpha Lima Echo, g'day, you can taxi via Alpha to Bay, see you later.
It's 3-1-2% 0.
Just confirm that was Echo to the
After
bay.
start checklist, complete.
Negative, if you're saying that you want to go to Golf 60, Golf 60 borders on taxiway Alpha. Currently you're on taxiway Alpha, just continue your taxi to the bay.
So just confirm straight ahead.
Alpha Lima Echo, Bay Golf 60 is just past taxiway Juliet. It'll be the parking bays after Juliet and in between Yankee.
Roger, so where the Tiger aircraft is on my right?
Negative, the Tiger aircraft is in the, I believe, the Foxtrot and Golf bays. You just want Golf 60. Golf 60 is just off taxiway Alpha.
Roger. Oh, yep, wait, got it.
Okay, turn left, sorry, turn right now, that'll be Golf 60.
Roger, turning left or right?
Turn right, turn right.
Yep, roger, turning right, heading towards the Tiger. Melbourne Tower, g'day, Mike Tango Uniform is in a misapproach and quest onwards.
Mike Tango Uniform, g'day, could you just advise your attention, please?
Apologies, Mike Tango Uniform requesting a further ILS approach, runway 27. Roger, approach.
Disregard that. Mike Tango Uniform, no problems. You can make a right-hand pattern for now.
Right-hand pattern, Mike Tango Uniform, and just confirming the other height you want me to climb to continue to 4,000, or would you say otherwise?
Mike Tango Uniform, you can climb to 2,500 per the ILS approach.
Mike Tango Uniform, Roger, descending to 2,500, thanks, Mike Tango Uniform. And now thanks for the coverage, have a great one.
See you later, Alex.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, were you ready for takeoff?
Ready for takeoff, Yankee Zulu.
Echo Yankee Zulu. You can contact departures on 124.0 airborne, runway 27, you cleared for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, runway 27.
Echo Yankee Zulu, just confirming, it was contact departures on 124.0, 124.0 airborne.
124.0 airborne, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Have a good flight, see you later.
See you later.
Tigers 452, request taxi, information November.
Sorry, last station calling, that went very, very loud. Just confirming it was Tigers 452 taxi.
Have fun.
Tigers 452, thanks. You can taxi via Yankee Alpha Echo to holding point Papa, runway 27, and squawk mode Charlie for me when you can.
Yankee Alpha Echo holding point Papa, runway 27, and we'll switch to mode Charlie, Tigers 452.
Tigers 452, thanks.
Okay, it's a clear left side and clear right side. Brakes released.
Maintaining uniform 2,500 feet and on a heading of 080.
Mike Tango uniform. Just track direct to waypoint VSAS for now.
Track direct to VSAS, Mike Tango uniform.
Mike Tango uniform, please keep the speed up. Got aircraft on final. Sorry, on arrival.
Copy, Mike Tango uniform, happy to complete an orbit here. Just conscious that my top speed isn't probably what you expect.
Mike Tango uniform, negative. They're still a little bit away, but they're very close in. So just when you can, just track onto the ILS as soon as possible.
Copy, thanks, keeping up airspeed, thanks, Mike Tango uniform.
Thanks, mate.
Okay, straight ahead, and then right turn.
And Mike Tango uniform, just advise your further intentions after the ILS when you're ready.
Flight control check.
Following the ILS, intentions for a full stop, runway 27, Mike Tango uniform.
Full left.
Mike Tango uniform, not a problem.
Full right. Neutral. Rudder. Full left. Full right. Neutral. Okay, and no additional briefing from a 27 departure. Looks like rain ceased, so yeah, we'll just take off without engine on the ice.
Mike Tango uniform, contact approach 132.0. All stations Melbourne Tower unfortunately has to close. All stations to contact centre 124.0. See you later.
See you later, thanks for controlling.
Thanks, bye. Alrighty, right turn on Echo. Oops.
Last station calling.
Melbourne Centre, g'day, Mike Tango uniform, with you now, 2,500 feet tracking direct to VATSIM.
Mike Tango uniform, turn left immediately 360.
360 left, Mike Tango uniform.
Last station calling unreadable.
Melbourne Centre, Tigers 452, ready at holding point Papa, runway 27, Melbourne for Adelaide.
Tigers 452, you ready immediate?
Hayfan.
Tigers 452, runway 27, clear for takeoff.
27, clear for takeoff, Tigers 452. Alright, before takeoff, checklist 2
Flight
under
controls.
line, checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 3.
Melbourne
Config.
Tower, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Echo Yankee
V1,
Zulu, you're
VR,
flying in my
V2,
airspace
flex
without a
10.
clearance. What are your intentions?
133, 133, 136, flex 50.
V1.
Good to
VR,
pass runway
V2.
27.
Flex.
Okay, Echo Yankee Zulu.
ATC.
So,
I didn't give you that clearance, and you're now in
Ecam
my
memo.
airspace without
There's
one.
takeoff number.
Squawk 1512,
Down to the
and
line.
Below the
advise
line.
your intentions.
Takeoff runway.
Runway 27 confirmed.
Departure, Kappa 2, runway
Confirmed.
27.
Cabin crew.
1512.
Advised.
TCAS.
TRA.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs on. P40.
Alright, let's go.
Cover 3492, full left uplift.
Now flex 58, SOS runway, auto thrust please.
Cover 3492, confirm 34 left or runway 27. You said 27 for us.
100 knots.
Cover 3492, expect late
V1,
lang
rotate.
clearance 1 to take off in front of you. Cover 3492. Mike Tango uniform, turn right track direct VSAT,
No.
expedite.
Turn right track direct to Visa, thanks, Mike uniform.
Mike Tango uniform, I just track you direct VSAT.
Track direct Visa, Mike uniform.
Course 3492, runway 27, clear to land.
Clear to 27, course 3492.
Climb up blue. Thrust climb, auto thrust. Flaps 1, speed checked. Flaps 1. Tigos 452 passing 2000, climbing to 5000.
Tigos 452, you're identified, climb over seat flight level 240.
Climb over seat flight level 240, Tigos 452. Flap 0, speed check, and flap 0. 240, set 240, move. After takeoff, climb checklist.
Checklist. Complete.
Flight station calling was at Charlie Zulu Hotel.
Landing gear.
Flaps is up.
Charlie Zulu Hotel, have you received your
Flaps
airway
are on.
Down to the line.
Okay, elect DC bus
Charlie
fault.
Zulu Hotel,
Okay, there's
cleared
no
to
worries about that, is
Sydney
there?
via Dosel, flight
Alright.
plan route Dosel, 1
Alright,
departure, runway
let's
27, climb by
concentrate on flying the aircraft. So the aircraft
4323.
is climbing to flight level 240. And everything is managed. Bit of weather ahead, but nothing significant. So the aircraft is flying just fine. Alright, so ECAM actions. Okay, so you can confirm on the SD page that DC bus 1 is
Mike Tango uniform,
not
keep
operative.
speed up, VSAT cleared ILS approach, runway
And
27,
lower.
report established.
override.
Roger, best speed and
Lower.
cleared ILS runway 27,
Override.
Wilco, Mike Tango uniform.
Extract, override. Extract,
Clear
override.
815, keep the descent going 5000.
5000, Clipper 815.
And clear elec. Clear elec. Avionics ventilation. Secondary failure.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, traffic
Lower.
16,000 for 2,000.
Vent is not available. And clear avionics vent. Clear avionics vent. Status, stop ECAM. Okay, we've carried out after takeoff climb checklist.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, what your final level is flight level 240, climb flight level 240.
Standing 240,
And
Yankee Zulu.
let's think about any resets. Restarts.
On 349 indicated.
There's none that I can think of.
3492 taxi bay
Any
choice cross
additional
runway 34.
procedures?
Taxi to be offshore, it's
None
close
that I
runway
can
34,
think of.
coast 3492.
Continue ECAM. Okay, let's do transition first. So set standard. Standard cross checked, passing flat level 105. Now check below the line. Barrel ref standard set. Set. After takeoff, climb checklist complete. Okay. Alright, so do 10,000 foot scan. Landing lights off. Just in case we have to come back to Melbourne, we'll leave the bell signs on. We're going through some layers of clouds anyway. And the EVIS is good. Got engine anti-ice for the memo. We didn't turn on the engine anti-ice, but because of the DC bus 1 failure, we've got an engine anti-ice failed in the open position.
Mike Tango Uniform established ILS runway 27.
Mike Tango Uniform, runway 27, clear to land.
Okay,
Runway
the
27
secondary
clear to
flight
land,
plan, we
Mike
can
Tango
copy the
Uniform.
active. Radnav, leave it where it should, then the progress page up in 365 and cruises 360.
Charlie, so we're going
Alright.
to 15.
Let's continue with ECAM. Continue with ECAM.
Charlie Zulu
Okay, we've
Hotel.
got Cat3 single only. Leading
Push
operative
Echo,
systems
Charlie Zulu.
ACP3. Captain's static and standby static. And left windshield heat. Left window heat. Cat3 dual. Reverser 1. Avionics vent. And vent blower. And galley fan. Brake system 1. Okay, remove status. Remove status. ECAM actions complete. Alrighty, so let's do an assessment here. So we had a DC bus 1 failure, and there's a few things that's not working as a result of it. I guess the major ones are captain's
Liberate 15 for descent when you can.
static probe and
Liberate
standby
15,
static
apologies,
probe.
down to
heat,
2,400 from
operative.
VSAS cleared ILS. 27.
But we're not expecting
already
to
cleared
go
the
through
ILS,
any major
27.
icing
Bravo.
conditions tonight. So the windshield heat and the window heat, they are not going to be any limiting for us. Reverser 1 is not going to be operating, but that's not really an issue. Avionics ventilation, we know that there's no real limitation to that, so I'm quite comfortable to go on with it at this point. Galley fan, once again, no issues, and the brake system 1, that's no issue either. Look, weather, we'll be more than happy to continue to Adelaide and land there. There's no issues with the equipment. And terrain wise, nothing to affect us there. All the way to Adelaide, there's a bit of Adelaide Hill, a bit of a higher hilly area to the east of Adelaide, but that's not going to be an issue. And facilities, we have everything we need. Adelaide is maintenance base for this particular airline. And fuel, we've got 9,400 pounds, and there's no changes to the fuel consumption apart from the engine anti-ice. That could only affect a couple of percent of fuel burn, so I'm not worried about it. And the performance, I guess there's nothing really apart from reverser 1 that will affect stopping capability. But with the brakes operating, we'll have no issues with the braking in Adelaide. So my preference is to continue to Adelaide, but we can ask the company and see what they want us to do, and if they're happy for us to continue, we will continue. and this is the last flight, so we don't have to consider about MELing any items for the next crew, and I don't think you can MEL DC bus 1 anyway. But yeah, so that's what we're gonna do. Alright, cool, that's all good, and we only cleared to 240, so we'll see if they are gonna release us or they're gonna keep us in their control boundary. We'll see. That's 1,000 to go.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today and make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection of gifts, most with massive discounts. Make the most of your opportunity to shop and save from the company.
Tigers 452 approaching the flight level 240.
To make great savings, and just ask us. You join
Tigers 452, climb flight level 360.
Flight level is 360, Tigers 452. Okay, 360 set, 360 blues, first climb RB.
Again, so.
Center Mike 10 uniforms clear runway.
Alright, I guess so we can turn the belt sign off. That's off.
Charlie Zulu Hotel requesting taxi clearance, received November.
Charlie Zulu Hotel taxi to the holding point of your choice.
Charlie Zulu Hotel.
Clear rate 15, runway 27, cleared land.
Clear land, runway 27 for rate 15.
Okay, there are a few things that are not displayed in the HD page right now, so let's just ascertain what's not available to us. We got the oil quantity indication on the engine number 1, that's not available, and also the UTC time is not available, but that's on the clock anyway, so that's not gonna give us too much trouble. And let's go through the SD pages. We got the engine page, looks like oil quantity and the oil PSI are not operative, but having said that, the PSI, there should be pressure switch that's independent of the indication of the oil pressure. So if there is indeed a low oil pressure on the engine number 1, we should still get the ECAM as far as I know. And nothing wrong with the bleed page, and cabin pressure, just a blow-up vent, no major issues, and DC1 is not available. And hydraulic page all good, fuel page all good. And on the wheel page we are missing the brake temperature indications, and also we don't have the brake system number 1 but number 2 is available, so no problem. Okay.
Melbourne Centre, g'day, Mike 2 uniform is airborne out of Avalon, runway 18, passing 600, climbing to 4000 and requesting airways clearance for Melbourne, ILS runway 27.
Mike, Tango uniform, no plan in the system for you.
Apologies, I'll try to file that again.
Okay, that's well outside our area, so I'm happy to delete that.
Okay, uniform, that's been filed here.
It's well outside our area as well. Delete.
Mike, Tango uniform, still not seeing it, I just bring it up manually. Mike Tango uniform, you're identified, climb 4000, track direct, VSAS.
Climb 4000 and track direct to VSAS, Mike 2 uniform.
Mike Tango uniform, report 10 miles, VSAS.
We'll go Mike 2 uniform.
So 800 feet to go. Mark our cruise. Okay, RVSM is checked and TKS to below. System check.
Center Mike Tango uniform, you don't mind if I slew myself to 15? Do you not have any traffic coming inbound?
No, you're the only one that go for it.
Cheers, thanks.
Okay, Yankee Zulu, you're clear of my airspace. Control service terminated, frequency change approved.
Frequency change approved, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Kegos 452, unfortunately, same deal.
No worries, mate. Have a good night. Thanks.
You too, cheers.
Alright, we'll just go to 122.8 Unicom. Okay, so while we've got a little bit of time on our hand, let's check the latest weather for Adelaide. It's information Oscar, expecting instrument approach runway 23, 21012 greater than 110k, so it's got at 3,500, broken 4,314 and 1020. Just gonna jot it down. Alright, let's see what the landing distance is gonna be like. Runway 23 arrival, and let's use all the wind that we expect, and 13 degrees 1020. Config full, and reverser 1 in op, and engine anti-ice will be off, and aircon on, and there's no ECAM that had landing distance procedure apply, so my presumption is that DC bus 1 is not going to affect our landing distance, and as you can see, only DC bus 2 fault is on the list. There's no DC bus 1 fault, meaning that DC bus 1 is not going to affect our landing distance. Okay, so the landing projected landing weight 134.3, the sounds legit to me, and there's no rain forecast at this time, so dry is fine, and it'll be a normal landing as opposed to auto land. Calculate. Okay, so let's have a look at the medium figure here, and this is a factored landing distance, this is in-flight landing distance. So when you're actually working out which taxiway you can realistically vacate via, it's always good to use this figure here, 1408. It's not factored, however, it is a reflective of an average pilot performance. So it's a 1408 meters is what we're looking at. So to determine which taxiway we can take realistically, normally go to 10-9 or 20-9 depending on whether it's a primary airport or not. 10-9, here we are. Okay, so that's the airport chart here. Some airports in other parts of the world have dedicated the page in the Japson that tells you the distance to exit, but many airports don't. So if you don't have that specific chart, you can just measure it. You can really eyeball it if you want. So for Adelaide, for example, it's got the takeoff run available there, but I don't believe this airport lists distance to exit. Look at the reference. Now that's all noise abatement, so yeah, but that's okay. So all you gotta do is to I normally just use a pen, but you can use a ruler as well. Just put something that you can place over the iPad screen and make a mark at say 500 meters, and then work out. Just superimpose it on onto the screen, and that's say 500, and that's about 1,000. And 1,400 would be right about there. So you can come to your own conclusion about whether you can feasibly taxi via Bravo 2 or sorry, Echo 2, or you're gonna have to take Foxtrot 4. If it's a very strong headwind on runway 23, it is actually possible to vacate via Echo 2, but yeah, unless there's a very strong headwind, I would not advise you to try it. So I'm just measuring it with a pen. 500. So that's 1,000. So that's 1,500 meters at the Echo 2. So 1,400, we might be able to take Echo 2, but we're not going to do anything ridiculous. If medium braking does it, that's fine. We'll just vacate by Echo 2. But if not, we'll just roll through to Foxtrot 4. Okay. So we've got a good idea of the weather condition in Adelaide, so we can start setting us up for the approach. So we've already done the landing distance calculation, and so we're happy with that, and we can go ahead and set up the FMGC. So we'll start off with the flight plan page and follow through a top hat pattern. So flight plan, RadNav, prog, performance, fuel prediction, and then secondary flight plan. Alright, so let's look at the charts, what charts are available for the arrival into Adelaide. And I know from experience, it is actually Drina 9 Alpha for ILS runway 23. So we put this chart up, and also the ILS Zulu runway 23 chart, and I've already got the airport chart up for our taxi. So on the FMGC, I put in ILS 23 Zulu and the Drina 9 Alpha arrival, and that's via gully. And if you like to confirm it with a pretty picture on the ND, you can do that before you execute anything. Happy with that. Inserted. And it's very important that you check the actual stringing on the flight plan page against the chart to ensure that all the restrictions and requirements are met. So from Drina, it says 331 to Comley up to below flight level 130, and we're expecting to cross there at 115, so that's fine. And then truck 331 6 miles to Disha, and then 309 degrees 9 miles to Braki up to below 9,000, and that's coded properly, and we cross there at about 7,000, and then continue 309 truck 8 miles to Omden, 230 knots for the ATC, and then 309 degrees and 6 miles, so that you have to add these two up to make 6 miles, because this here is a shooter waypoint. And that's gully. That will take us to the ILS Zulu runway 23. It is important to look through all the notes. Missed approach 222 3000 and ADC speed restrictions. Take a look at the MSI as well. And gully is an initial approach fix, as you can see. And final approach point is Gukti, and missed approach truck 222 3000 feet. And the runway 23's got 2 puppies and high owls, minimum 270, and with the full lighting 0.8k is required. Okay, so the flight plan page is all cross-checked, and we're happy with what's in it. The radio nav page, if you need to hard tune anything, you are free to, but I'm just going to leave them auto-tuned, and that should give me Adelaide soon enough anyway. And the ILS India Alpha Delta 1097 front course 222, that's set. And I'll put in YPAD 23 for the threshold reference, and GPS primary nav accuracy is high, and right now I've got 0.09 estimated navigation accuracy, which is plenty. And enter destination data, yes I will, I'll clear that. Performance page, cruise at 78 and descend 77 into 280, yep, pretty comfortable. And approach page, I'll put in the current QNH 1020 for Adelaide, and the temperature of 14 degrees, winds 210 at 12, barra 270, landing config will be full, VLS plus 5 knots 135. For the go around, the reduction 1000 is okay, acceleration I'll set the missed approach altitude for the acceleration as 3,000 feet, engine out acceleration also 3,000 feet in this case. Fuel prediction shows 5.4 on arrival, which hasn't really changed since we departed Melbourne, and gives us extra 41 minutes, and that makes sense given we've added 30 minutes of extra fuel at the dispatch. Secondary flight plan. Look, there's no alternative runway possibility, so I'm just going to copy the active for this one. So once FMGC is set up, I normally go all over to the overhead panel, and if it's a flaps 3 landing, obviously you need to press the landing flaps 3 button, otherwise it's GPWS is going to tell you off. And moving towards the EFIS, I'll make sure I got constraint up, and on the SD page on the lower ECAM, landing elevation auto 0 feet, and lastly the gross weight, we are well under the maximum landing weight. So the aircraft is all set up apart from the auto brake, so we've got auto brake medium, but as expected, because we don't have the EBS CU1, auto brake is not available, although it doesn't say it in the status page. But anyway, manual braking it is. So in effect, it'll be a little bit tricky to brake to the same amount as the normal medium auto brake, but yeah, we all know that the landing distance is more than sufficient, and we'll just deprecate at whichever the taxiway as we see fit at the time. Alright, so normally you get the other pilot to check your work, and then we'll carry out the briefing. Okay, so let's go ahead and do a brief. So overview, there's a few things to discuss here. So there's nothing to discuss about the NORTAM for Adelaide, and the aircraft state, there's no MEL or CDL. However, we've got a bunch of things that are not working, and the big ticket items are the reverser 1 and also the brake system 1, therefore the auto brake. And the engine anti-ice is stuck in the on position. Having said that, if we do go through cloud, then I definitely will be pressing the engine anti-ice buttons, because I'm pretty sure engine 2 anti-ice is off right now. Alrighty, so the chart is 10-2 kilo, that's our RNAV star, Adreno 9 Alpha, transition level is 110, 250 knots below 10,000 feet, Comley up to below 130, and Braki up to below 9,000, Omdin at 230 knots. And the com failure procedures at the bottom of the chart should we need it. The ILS Zulu, runway 23, that's 11-1. The glide slope check at Gukti and the DA 270, runway elevation 20 feet, will be stabilized by 1,000 feet. Barometric. Missed approach, straight ahead to 222, climb to 3,000, was directed by ATC. Standard ATC speed restrictions, but there's no ATC up today, so we can disregard that. Although those are the speeds that you would normally be doing anyhow. And gully minimum altitude is 3,800 feet. That's going to be our platform altitude. And we got 2 puppies and the high owls with full lighting, 0.8k required, and we have Tanko Viz. It will be a config full landing, and we only have thrust reverse number 2, so expect a little bit of a yaw moment to the right, anticipate that, and expect to vacate either by Echo 2 or Foxtrot 4, and then cross runway 30, and then to the bay there's a hot spot crossing runway 30 as well, and at this stage expecting a bay 12 to the northern end of the terminal. Terrain, Adelaide Hill out to the east, and it's not a strong westerly wind, so I wouldn't expect too much mountain turbulence. And operational nil, and the fuel currently 6,000 pounds on board, and they expect to arrive with 5.4, which sounds reasonable. Alright, so that's all the briefing. Looks like there's a few puffy clouds up there. If we do go through icing conditions, as I mentioned, we'll be turning on the engine anti-ice on both sides, although number 1 I think is stuck open. And also yeah, the windshield heat on the left hand side and the window heat on the left hand side are not available, so might fog up, but yeah, that should not be a showstopper, because yeah, as we get out of the clouds, should be a nice clear sky underneath. Okay, leaving flight level 360. Let's go down initially to say 200. Thrust idle, descent up blue, flight level 200 blue. Speed is stuck on the lower end of the margin there, so I'm just gonna go back to selected speed, and I got 0.78. I just transition into 280 knots, so 280 knots selected speed. The reason why it's doing it is most likely because I didn't put in the wind aloft information. So wind data uplink, I don't know if we still be able to use it. No, it doesn't work. We're already on this end. So anyway, that deleted the ground wind, so I'm just going to put in the surface wind of 21012. Thrust idle. Speed managed. Alright, let's turn the seatbelt signs on early.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag is safely stowed with your laptop inside. Your tray table must be stowed, armrest down, and window blinds open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers, or magazines that you do not want to take with. The toilets are no longer in service.
Okay, let's continue our descent down to say 9,000 feet. 9,000 set, 9,000 blue. It's a -3 tat out there, so I'm going to turn the engine anti-ice on all sides. Don't know if you noticed, but when I turned on the engine 2 anti-ice, the fault light illuminated for a few seconds, indicating that for a short time the valve was in transit. So what it means is that yeah, the engine 2 anti-ice was not on, despite the fact that the engine anti-ice memo was up. Normally that's that means at least one engine anti-ice push button is pressed anyway. Just make a quick Unicom call. Adelaide traffic, this is Tigos 452 IFR A320, position 42 miles to the southeast, passing flight level 150 on descent, inbound for Adelaide, estimating threshold at 53 Adelaide. Ice not detected on the memo. It shows up when ice detection system doesn't detect any icing after, I think it's 190 seconds after engine anti-ice being selected on. set QNH. Okay, 1020, let's cross check passing 11,100 now. Okay, approaching 10,000, I'm just going to use a little bit of speed brake to slow it down to 250. Okay, let's clear us down to 5,000, 5,000 blue. Thrust idle. Approach checklist. Briefing confirmed. ECAM status checked. Seat belts on. RF 1020 set. Minimum. Barrow 270 set. Engine mode selector normal. Approach checklist complete. Okay, we'll have the terrain up on the PM side if I can do it. Maybe it's not working. I don't know why. Maybe it's something to do with the DC bus fault. Okay, and we clear to 3,800 feet and clear for the ILS approach. So Alta 3,800 set, 3,800 blue. Like to make our descent a little bit shallow from about here to ensure that there's no excessive closure rate with the terrain. Speed VS minus 700, could probably even do 500, and activate approach phase. Approach phase activated. India Alpha Delta identified under its correct sense, and we'll clear for the ILS approach. Glass Blue, Lock Blue, Cat3 single, AP1+2.
Hi, it's Norman. Yep, that's the cabin secure for landing. See you on the ground, bye.
And that's 500 feet to go. Flaps 1, speed checked, flaps 1. And the status page. And yep, nothing new there. Remove status, remove status. The runway 23 visual now, and that's Adelaide Hill right underneath us. Logstar. Out.
2500.
Close Lobster Loke. Missed approach altitude 3000 set. Close slope. Flaps 2 speed checked. Flaps 2. Get down. Get down. Okay, engine ideals can come off. Flaps 3, speed check, flaps 3. Okay, Cacti on profile, flaps full, speed checked, and the flaps full. Landing checklist. Cabin crew advised. Auto thrust. Speed. Auto brake. Off. Checked. ECAM memo. Landing no blue. Landing checklist complete. Land.
100 above.
Checked.
Minimum.
Continue. Autopilot off. Cat 1.
100. 50. 30. 20. Retard. Retard.
Spoilers. Reverse green. Decel. And 70 knots. Check to take function 4. And that's ECAM. Electric DC bus 1 fault, disregard. Since we don't have brake temperature indications, we'll turn the brake fans on now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving their seats to perform safety-related duties. However, we ask that you remain seated until the fasten seatbelt sign has been switched off. Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used. Please make sure that you take all your personal belongings with you, checking in the seat pocket, underneath the seat and in the overhead lockers. Do take care when opening the lockers in case anything falls out. Smoking is not permitted until you reach a designated smoking area. On behalf of the captain and the crew,
Okay, the starting.
Today, our ground crew will help you complete your journey.
Okay, elect DC bus 1 fault. Clear. And secondary failure avionics vent, same as what we saw earlier, so clear avionics vent. Status, yep, nothing we don't know about, so remove status. Okay, after landing checklist. Flaps retracted. Spoilers disarmed. APU start. Radar off. predictive wind shear system off. After landing checklist complete. Okay, so it's about 12. Clear across, clear left, clear right. Okay, right turn. To Bravo 1. Turn. It's about 12. Marshal is in sight. I'm just going to leave the lights on for slightly longer than usual because it's very dark. Right, got the marshaller definitely sighted, and right, we turn off light, nose lights off. . Okay. Brake set. APU bleed is on. Shutting down 2. Shutting down 1. Beacons off. Signs off.
Today. Your doors are clear to open.
IRS drift and no fuel leak. Good. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the flight across Adelaide, and I'll see you next time.